have simcha in your life, when you have joy, really the only time you'll really have the absolute most joy is when you're celebrating with everyone else around you. We just have a bracha that we want to make a bracha that everyone around us, with us, our family and our friends, that all the brachas, all the blessings that you need, they should be delivered this Rosh Hashanah, and we all celebrate and have simcha together. So in a few minutes, I just really want to cover what's going on today. What's the big deal? Because 2 weeks ago, I had no idea what this was all about. Most of my friends and family were all in agreement. We had no idea what's going on. I think, according to the Midrash, there's 13 different places where we find Hashem says the word li. Do this mitzvah for me, li. 13 different places, and it's very significant when in the Torah it says li. It's very significant when it says that, because that shows us that obviously Hashem loves this mitzvah very much. So we have to pay extra close attention. There's a lot of mitzvahs in the Torah, and we don't see li by all of them. To fill in, it doesn't say do this for me, but the PIDYON HABEN, this is one of those instances. It says do this mitzvah for me by the firstborn. Sanctify the firstborn for me. Hashem has a special love for this mitzvah of PIDYON HABEN. What's going on? We have the sikulah, we have the li for me. Another source is that the Torah reports this mitzvah 9 times. We have a lot of mitzvahs in the Torah that it just mentions them and it moves on. 9 different times this mitzvah comes up. What's going on? Our mission when we come to this planet is not to just stay in our own bubble, stay in our own spiritual, pure realm, and not get our hands dirty and get involved in the world. Part of our mission in this world is to come, get involved with the physical reality, and uplift it. So by doing this for the baby, we're helping him do what he needs to do. He can't do the services in the temple anymore, so we're buying him back so now he can actually get involved and do what he needs to do. So that's a little bit of a spiritual idea going on. Okay, now practically speaking, what's special about a firstborn boy, we have a lot of firstborns in the room. The firstborn has the benefit of the closest connection with the previous generation, with those older and wiser than he. Right? He has that natural connection going on. I merited to, thank God, see all my grandparents and have relationships with my grandparents, and that's awesome. Leadership also suits him since he's the eldest. Just you're the oldest, boom, you're forced to be the leader. And therefore you're the most experienced among the children. That's practically speaking why firstborn is special. Spiritually speaking, according to the Sfas Emes, firstborns have the ability to constantly view situations as if they're new. And so, they're spiritually endowed with this gift of always being able to see things from a new lens. Like, we're not thinking with the old, what about this way, what about that way? And so they approach anything in their life with a youthful enthusiasm, time and time again. And because of this ability to approach things with youthful enthusiasm, they were initially chosen to do the avodah of the Beis Hamikdash. Adam and Eve, right? Adam HaRishon. When he did his, he broke his word with God. God asked him, you can partake of anything you want in this garden. Just this one, don't do this one. Don't take from this tree. What did he do? He went and ate from that tree. At that moment, when he did that, it was the first time we severed our connection with Hashem. We veered away from what Hashem wanted, and from that point in time, death entered the world. Otherwise, we were destined to live forever. There was no death. Death entered the world, not only physical death, but also a certain spiritual, practical, everyday death that we experience. And what is that? That's just getting older. As we get older, as we get habituated in our ways, we get older in life, we become less enthusiastic, we become less passionate. That's a curse that comes from Adam HaRishon. That as we get older, we lose that youthful enthusiasm. Where's the one place in the world that curse didn't affect? The one place that curse of death didn't occur was in the Beis Hamikdash. The Beis Hamikdash was a place where there was no standing, there was no sitting, There was no sitting, there was no stopping. It was a place of always moving. The Kohanim are described as having zrizut, alacrity. They were constantly moving, constantly moving. You were not allowed to sit down in the Beis Hamikdash. They were always running, doing this, running, doing that. There's a Gemara that says that if a Kohen happened to fall asleep in the Beis Hamikdash, his fellow Kohanim brothers were allowed to light his clothing on fire. It's a very serious thing. It was about, this is the place where you're moving and you're growing, you're moving upwards. It's not about standing still. So now, to just conclude the idea, I hope we got a little bit of something with my little ramble. I'm just going to close with an idea from my Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Gershfeld, that something we can take away from us, something we can take away. We discussed how the firstborns have this youthful enthusiasm. We talked about how the Beis HaMikdash was a place that was a place of not standing still. We're starting the new year, and a beautiful way to start the new year is with the intention of trying to grow, of growth, of being passionate, of being alive. So when we're trying to make our deeds beautiful, when we're trying to make our avodas beautiful, when we're trying to lead a beautiful life, it requires a certain approach, because it's not easy to be passionate. It's not easy to live with vitality. It's not easy to be artistic and try to make your life beautiful. It's much easier to just be sloppy. It's much easier to just dress basic. It's much easier to just live a basic life. I said hello to my children today. Okay, I did my job. I'm a father. I interacted with them. I read a book to my children. Okay, I'm Yotzi the mitzvah. I educated them. But there's a difference between reading a book to your children, just like just reading it to them and getting it over with, versus engaging your children and being passionate with your children via reading that book. Reading a book so it engages your children. That's the difference between being tired, worn out, and an autopilot deed versus a beautiful deed. So to be beautiful, we have that intention. We have to have that vision and that skill of applying the ideas from the Beis HaMikdash, from the Beforim, from the Firstborn, from the Kohanim, and infusing our lives with the youthful enthusiasm. With that, which we should learn from all the children running around here, we should learn from Ariel Shimon as a Firstborn to infuse our lives with the youthful enthusiasm and the passion.
Beautiful.
Okay. We're going to bring the baby into the room now. You're both going to be kicked back after, but
Yeah, right.
we're good with the song. I'm going to try one more time with you. Go for the song one more time, Okay, guys, it's a very short process. Now we're going to be redeeming his sanctified status from the Kohanim who represent God. It's like you're going to show them.
Guys, listen.
Is this boy your firstborn son?
Ken, yes, he is.
I think so.
He looks like me.
במאי באי תפה בבנך בכורך או בחמישה צלעים דמחייבת לפדות בהן.
Which do you prefer, your firstborn son or the 5 shekels which you are required to redeem him.
We're not doing it for just 5 seconds.
B'nei Bechori, my firstborn son.
בנך זה בכור הוא, שמא ילדת בן אחר לפניו, או שמא הפלת.
Is this your firstborn? Perhaps you gave birth to another child before him, or perhaps you previously miscarried.
זה בני בכורי לא ילדתי ולא הפלתי לפניו.
זה הבן בכור הוא, והקדוש ברוך הוא סימן לפדותו, שנאמר, ופדויה מבין חודש. תיתן בערכך כסף 5 שקלים, ושקל הקודש 20 גרה הוא. כשהייתה בימי אמך הייתה ברשות אביך שבשמיים וברשות אביך בימיך, ועכשיו אתה ברשותי שאני כהן. ואביך ואימך מבקשים לפדותיך שאתה בכור מקודש, שכן כתוב וידבר אדוני משה לאמור, קדש לי כל בכור פטר כל רחם בבני ישראל בעדה ובמהל לי הוא.
This son is a firstborn and the Holy One, blessed is he, has commanded to redeem him, as it is said, those that are to be redeemed from 1 month shall you redeem according to the valuation, 5 silver shekels by the sacred shekel. It is 20 gerah. When you were in the womb of your mother, you were the property of our Father in heaven, and the property of your father and mother. Now you are my property, for I am a Kohen, and your father and mother wish to redeem you. Since you are a sanctified firstborn, it is written, Hashem spoke to Moses, saying, sanctify for me every firstborn, the first issue of every womb among the children of Israel, both of man and beast is mine.
אני רוצה לפדותו. אני רוצה לפדותו, שכך כתוב בתורה, אך פדו תפדה את בכור האדם, וכתוב ופדויו מבין חודש תפדה. בערכך כסף 5 שקלים בשקל הקודש 20 gerah hu. I wish to redeem him, for thus it is written in the Torah, but you shall surely redeem the firstborn of man. And it's also written, those that are to be redeemed from 1 month shall you redeem according to the valuation, 5 silver shekels by the sacred shekel. It is 20 gerah. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על פדיון הבן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. זה פדיון בני בכורי. This is the redemption for my firstborn son.
חזק ברוך. 5 סלעים, אלו בפדיון בנך זה, והרי הוא פדוי בהם כדת משה וישראל. יעשו לפניך אדוני אלוהי עמנו, כשם שזכה הבן הזה לפדיון, כך יזכה לתורה ולמצוות ולחופה, בחיי אביו ובחיי אמו, אמן. כן יהי רצון.
I have received from you these 5 salaim in redemption of your son of yours. He is hereby redeemed through them in accordance with the law of Moses and Israel.
I passed out a piece of paper to everyone. You can read that now. Read it out loud if you can. Hold on. You're asking the
בכבוד.
הגואל להוציא מכל מעלה יברך את העניים ויקרא בהם שמי בשם אבותיי אברהם, יצחק וידעו לרוב בקרב הארץ ואל שדי יברך אותך לפרך ויברך והייתה נבחר עמים מעל אביך ויעזרך ואת שדי יברכך ברכות שמיים מעל ברכות תהום ועובסת תחת ברכות שדי ורחקים תשכב לא תשכב ושכבת וערבה שנתך אדוני ישמורך מכל רע ישמע אנשיך אדוני ישמור שדך וברך ועשה ועד עולם.
Amen.
1 second.
I'm gonna give it to you. I gotta give it to you.
Okay.
Oh, so sweet. לחיים.
אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן ברוך אשר קדש ירבה בימי מלכו ול40 יום חילק איבריו 248 איברים שיש בו נפח בו נשמה כדכתיב ויפח באפיו נשמת חיים ויהי האדם לנפש חיה אור בשר הלבישו בעצמות וגידים זוכחו כדכתיב אור ובשר תלבישני ובעצמות וגידים תשוחחני וציווה לו מאכל ומשתה וזימן לו שני מלאכי השרת לשומרו במאי עמו כדכתיב חיים החסד עשית עמדי ופקודתך שומרה רוחי.
Baruch atanu melech haolam b'rei minei v'samim.
Amen.
Zeben and that this is your first one. Which chapter?
This is my first one, son.
You want to see Hebrew? Amen. So the mother just blessed the child. Mazal tov, siman tov.
Elanu. 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 Kodeko Israel.
It's very heavy now. Here, we're ready for you.
One, two, three.
Eddie, do you want to say this English? For us.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, King of the universe, who sacrificed the fetus in the womb of his mother, and at 40 days separated into 248 limbs. And he blew into him the breath of life, as is written, and he blew into his nostrils the soul of life, and man became a living being. He clothed him with skin and flesh, and covered him with the bones and blood vessels, as is written, you clothed me with the skin and flesh, you covered me with bones and blood vessels. He commanded for him food and drink, and prepared for him 2 ministering angels in his mother's room to watch over him, as it is written. You granted me life and were kind to me, and your ordinances protected my spirit. His father says, this is my firstborn son. His mother says, this is my firstborn son, through whom the Holy One, blessed is he, opened the doors of my womb. We are obligated to give the Cohen 5 saraim for the redemption as is written. Those that are redeemed from 1 month shall you redeem according to the valuation. 5 silver saraim by the sacred shekel, it is 20 gerah. It is also written, for you shall surely redeem the firstborn of man and the firstborn of the impure beast shall you redeem. And just as the Son merited redemption, so shall the Holy One, blessed is he, grant the merit of Torah, bestow the marital canopy and good deeds. Blessed are you, Hashem, the sanctifier of the firstborn of Israel and their redemption.
Amen.
Does anybody?
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. תודה, תודה.